start this month, kicking off Brene Brown's, it's not on there anymore, Braving the Wilderness book. We're going to study this month. And the first two chapters are on belonging. The whole book is on belonging.
Oh, turn the mic on, girlie.
Dave?
It's on here.
Can I check you?
Okay, well, that's not on somewhere else.
There you go.
Okay.
Start again, please.
Sorry about that. I'm new to this, so anyway. Good morning. So this month we are reading the book by Brene Brown, Braving the Wilderness, and it's about belonging. And this is what the reading was about. And anyway, so I just want to start out with a quote that she talks about in her book, the definition, how she defines belonging. Belonging is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than us. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in and seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. So I thought this was really interesting because I always thought of belonging as relating more to other people. Like other people, if they accept me, if they like me, if I'm okay. So we try and fit in. And this is a different twist to it. I thought it was really interesting. And when I was thinking about this talk, I thought about why aren't we, in order to belong, we present our authentic self. She talks about raw authenticity in this book, and I thought that's an interesting concept. Am I authentic to that point? How do we do that? Why do we feel like we need to do something to fit in? Why do we not be our raw, authentic self all the time? And I thought about, I remember when I was about 5 or 7 years old, or a little kid, and my dad was a minister, and we would have to go to church, and we would be the preacher's kids, and we had to dress up in these patent leather shoes and these little white frilly socks and this dress with the petticoats, and and my mom rolled my hair in bobby pins. It was crazy. It was nothing like what I would have chosen to wear. Even at that age, I knew better than that. But this is what I was taught. I have to go put on this mask when I go to church. This is what I'm supposed to look like. So from a very early age, we're all brought up. I assume some of us experienced some of this. You have to look this way. You have to dress this way. You have to talk this way. Don't say that. Now, what would people think if you said that? What would they think if you did something? We have to please other people, or they won't like us, and we won't belong. We'll be ostracized. So, and then I had a client a few months ago, and it continues. And she's going to college, and she's not going to college because she wants to go to college. She's going to college because her mother wants her to go to college, so she won't have to work at Walmart the rest of her life. And she showed me some of her artwork online, and it's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. But she has to go to school to please her mother. But anyway, when she's taking this class, and her professor said she had to write a paper on her opinion about gay marriage. And she has to either write, she's for gay marriage, and all the reasons for or against her opinion. And she said, but I can see both sides of that. I want to write about both sides. But my professor said he'd give me an F if I did that. And so this was another way. It's like it continues. It's like we have to fit into this thing. And she did write the paper of her honest opinion, but I don't know what happened because I didn't get to see her anymore after that. But anyway. So what do we do? we kind of learn to push ourselves away and not really become who we are because people might not accept us. They might not like us. So we kind of trying to fit in. And then we come, then when we really, it's like, what? So why don't we present our vulnerable, like we become vulnerable if we present our real self. If we present our authentic self, that makes us vulnerable and it makes us feel exposed. Like sometimes when I've had a conversation with somebody and I really talk about myself at a real vulnerable place, after I hung up, I feel kind of weird. Like that felt kind of strange. It didn't feel really comfortable, maybe. Because I'm not used to doing that. And maybe I don't totally accept all of myself, like what she said. You know, I might not accept my whole self. I might not. It feels scary to do that. Like there's fear involved. And so, I guess the bottom line is, in order to belong to myself, in order to belong to ourselves, we need to learn to get to know ourselves, our real self. Like, who am I? What would I really do? What do I really want to wear? What do I really want to do? Who am I? And be willing to share that with other people. And then there's this thing at the bottom of vulnerability that she talks about. Sometimes some of us feel shame. And that's kind of scary. And we were probably taught that when we were little. My dad used to tell me I should be ashamed of myself all the time when I did something wrong. So, do I want to expose some of that to other people? I have to realize that I am okay. That we are all okay. Each of us are okay. We're beautiful people. You know, we all know that addiction is a huge thing in our country. And there's a man named Johann Hari, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, that has a little video you can watch on Google if you put that on there. Everything you know about addiction is wrong. And his theory is the biggest thing behind addiction is lack of connection. Because we all get up, we put on a mask, we pretend like we're somebody else, and we don't really connect with each other. We don't really get to know each other. That has created a huge problem. That's why people want to leave the planet in their mind. They don't want to be here. They don't want to participate. They want to go somewhere else. That's really sad. That is the basis of addiction. And I think that's probably why the 12-step program works so well, because you go in AA meetings or 12-step meetings. I don't know if some of y'all know about that, and you are accepted and you're loved and you are encouraged to talk about yourself honestly and heal. And that's how you heal. That's how we all heal. We all heal by exposing ourselves and connecting with other people. And then we feel that sense of belonging. But that really is scary. And that's the wilderness. The wilderness is the vulnerability, the inconsistency, the fear, not knowing what people are going to say. And then I thought about, we had a musician here a couple weeks ago, Mitch Barrett. And I thought, everybody loves him. And he just we move all this stuff out of the way, and he just sits down in a chair, plays his guitar of the music he wrote from his heart. So authentic, beautiful. And everybody loved him because we can relate to that. It made us think, oh man, he is really himself. That's who he is. Beautiful person. And he goes all over the place, traveling around playing this beautiful Mitch Barrett authentic music that's gorgeous from his heart. What if we all did that? Whatever our gifts and talents, just share it from our heart. I like this quote. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. The power of God is within you. Think about that a minute. The power of God is within you. This is the divine authority which should be recognized and which should inspire every thought, every act, and every purpose. Power of God is within each of us. We are spirit in person expressing. God gives us our divine ideas and our gifts and talents and who we are. How can any of that be not okay? It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. We are spiritual beings. And I thought about a conversation I had with somebody a long time ago. It was about 5 years ago. And this is kind of an experience of what it feels like when you kind of just let go of that need to hold back and not. I don't even know how this happened. I was at Line X getting a hitch put on my new car. I just bought my RAV4, and I was getting a hitch put on it. And I had to call. I had gotten an inheritance from my mother a few years ago, and I had to call my financial advisor at Commonwealth Credit Union, a bank person. And I was standing in the middle of Line X, and we were talking about the money. And I don't know what happened, but somebody mentioned something about something spiritual. And that wasn't characteristic of this kind of conversation. And I don't even know who mentioned it first. But it was a very unusual thing, but it was something that somebody mentioned because they were feeling it in their heart. And it must have related to something. I don't know how it got started. But anyway, and the bottom line was him and his wife had just found out about this message of New Thought and God is love and oneness and this beautiful message that we teach here. And that's my heart and soul. And I just, we just connected. And they were so excited about it. And I got excited about it. And we talked in the middle of the line next. That kind of went over in the corner because the odd conversation. And we talked, I bet, for a half an hour. I don't even know how long. Maybe a long time. And we were excited. And it was like, this is what happens when you really somehow just open yourself up and let whatever is going to happen. And I felt like I was floating on a cloud after I hung up the phone. Did y'all have those kind of experiences? When you really connect with somebody, it's your heart. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And so, if we could just walk through that fear and realize the beauty. I thought about that song that we all used to sing a long time ago in Christian churches. This little light of mine. And I thought, but it's not a little light, it's a big light. It's a beautiful light. It's like we can open up our hearts and our soul and be who we are and let whatever needs to come out, and feel good about it. Feel good about who I am, who you are. We are all expressions of one life. And there's only one. And no matter who we're talking to, they're expressions of that same life too. And we're all beautiful. We're just beautiful. Beautiful spiritual beings. And we can express however we are. And it's okay. Brene Brown says, true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. And the wilderness is the unknown. The unknown of being the truth of who we are and expressing that, being willing to deal with people who don't like it, judgments, maybe criticism, and getting that fabulous reward of that connection that we don't get if we don't do that. I'm going to read Dr. Maya Angelou's quote again that Seneca read in the beginning, part of our reading. You're only free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. That's kind of hard to get. Because we all want to belong someplace. That's why we're all here, probably. We feel like part of where we belong is at Ahava. Because we all kind of think the same way and we feel good together and we connect. But first we have to belong inside of ourselves. So I invite each person, online and here in person, to brave that wilderness, even become the wilderness, become that unknown place of raw authenticity. Walk through that fear of exposing yourself and connect with people in truth and honesty. I invite everyone to close their eyes if that feels comfortable. Breathing into this place of oneness, of love, knowing that God is all that there is. God is this love. God is the oneness. God is honesty. God is wisdom. God is truth. God is beauty. God is each of us. And we are that same love and that same truth and beauty, honesty. We are as God is. And there's nothing to be afraid of. We are here to connect with each other and love each other and share who we are. Share our true self with each other. And that's what makes life joyful. That's what brings us joy. Is that kind of connection. We are one. There is no other one. And that one is love. And we can share that love with each other. It's beautiful. And I'm so grateful for this truth. I speak my word knowing it is so. And I leave it into the law of the universe. Saying, and so it is. Amen.